Hello everyone, Doug Hansgate here. Thought I'd take a minute to explain this whole intersect thought process. So let's jump over to my computer here and take a look. So the reason that we have intersect available to us, if I go to the develop module and we look in the masking function, I can intersect lots of things. And one of the things that we have the ability to do is to, say for example, create a new mask of the select the sky. Well, it selects the whole sky, and that's pretty nice. But I can also choose to intersect that mask with a particular portion of the sky. So I could say, let me choose a luminance range. And choosing a luminance range, I could now say, look, let's only adjust these brightest portions of that sky. So the advantage of that is that I now have the ability to control portions of a selection and essentially what we call the intersects of those selections. Let me jump over to Photoshop for a second just to explain that. So I have just an image up with 3 circles. So an intersect is whenever two different selections, so the green selection and the red selection, where they combine, and that's that darker color red that we see there. Same thing here. This is an intersect of the blue and the red. So we need to have basically 2 variables that are both quantified by those variables. In other words, my green selection and my red selection, and where those 2 meet, I have an intersect. Well, that same thought process applies in Lightroom. So we did a sky selection, and then we intersected that with a particular luminance range of that sky selection. So now I have the ability to change the brightness or the warmth of that sky in that particular section of sky without touching the entire sky. So we use intersections whenever we're looking to deal with a specific area. Now, one of the advantages of that is let's look at this is a little blue heron. Let's take a look at this little blue for a second. Now, we have the head, and we have the body. But what if I were to say, let's go ahead and select, say, the subject. So it grabs my little blue very nicely. But I would like to make this little blue more contrasty. And one of the ways that I can do that is to say to intersect this with a luminance range. And now what I'm going to do is take and select just the various darkest portions of that range. So I'm just kind of bringing this in to say, just show me the darkest range of that. And now maybe I decide that I don't want it here on the lower portion of this little blue heron, so I just subtract with a brush. And let's just subtract this portion here so that it's just in those feathers up above. And maybe I take the beak out of it as well. What it gives me the ability to do now is to go ahead and say, look, let's darken those dark areas. And when I do that, I end up with more contrasts in my bird. Now, it may be a little too much in this particular case, and that's fine. I mean, I have the ability to adjust that here, or I could just adjust my total settings. But you get the point. There is so many uses for using this ability to be able to do the intersect in Lightroom that it's kind of crazy. It gives us so much potential that we haven't seen in the past. I hope this has helped you a little bit to understand that. I hope that it gave you a thought process, because we can use that same image or that same thought process for something like this. We could use it in one of my dancer photos. It really it really comes down to what I'm trying to accomplish with an image, and I will tell you that the intersect command is something that that we are all as professionals using so much more than we ever did in the past. It is just kind of amazing, the the length and breadth of what can be done. So, for example, just a real quick example here, I'm going to take and grab my background. And so I grab the background. Now it's got the arm in there a little bit. You know, we could subtract that, but I'm just going to do this. I'm going to say intersect this mask with, again, a luminance range. And what I want to do is just affect the brightest portions of that background. And so I'm intersecting the background with the luminance range, and I'm saying, all right, this doesn't do what I want it to do, right? But remember, a luminance range is a range. It's similar to something that we might want to do with a luminosity masking, right? So I can take and say, look, I'd really like to just affect the range in my blankets that are, or my, cloth that's going across here. And let's just kind of work that a little bit until I'm getting what I want, which is something similar to this. And then again, subtract, with a brush from this and say, look, I really don't want to affect this up here. I really don't want to affect this over here or over here. What I'm looking for is predominantly my ability to be able to take and affect just that cloth and create a little more kick to that cloth. So what I now have the ability to do is to take and add contrast to that cloth where it is already a little bit lighter. So once again, using intersect in a variety of different ways is going to become not only one of the de facto processes that we're using in Lightroom, but something that is going to be really important for us to learn and study. Hope that helps, and have a great day.